Alright, so our first pre-cal lesson, we're going to be doing a review of solving equations, right? We're going to have to do a lot of solving equations this year, so I'll make sure that we remember how to do that. So we're going to do a quick review of that. So over here I put the steps you can follow. These are just kind of general, like a flow chart kind of thing. You might not have to do all the steps, but they're kind of a general way to lead you through a problem. Right? So I'm going to do a step or problem 1 here, and I'm following steps. Step 1 is distribute if you can. Remember, distributing is when we have parentheses like this. So we take the number on the outside and multiply it with everything on the inside. So negative 3 times 1 and negative 3 times negative 6, and I have an R. So I distributed the negative 3. I'm going to bring this down. We get that. Now I look to see if I have any like terms. When we look for like terms, we have to look only on that one side of the equal sign there. So like over here, I don't have like terms, and I don't have like terms here. So we won't do that this time. Step 3, move the variable when you have 2 of them. In this case, I've got an R there and an R there. So I need to pick one to move. Now, technically, it doesn't matter. The general tip is to move the smaller of them to avoid negative numbers. So I'm going to add R to both sides. Keep everything positive. So that will cancel. My negative 3 comes down. 18 plus 1 is 19. And then that 14 comes down. So at this point I've gotten pretty far down here. I've moved the variable. Now I need to either add or subtract something. So if over here, when we're looking at these, here's the R. So what I need to add or subtract is this negative 3 here. Remember, you want to do the opposite. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides of the equal sign. Cross those out. 19R will equal 14 plus 3 is 17. Lastly, I'm going to either multiply or divide. So looking at 19R, that's a multiply. So my opposite of multiply is to divide by 19. When you're at this point, this is not going to be a whole number. We do not use decimals. We're going to leave that as a fraction. If you can reduce it, then reduce it. In this case, we cannot reduce it, so the answer is going to stay 17 over 9. There's example 1. We've looked at our steps. Example 2. This is one of the stars, right? This is a general kind of flow chart. If you've got fractions, they're kind of like something a little bit different, right? We're not distributing them, but we do need to take care of this fraction first, because this side of the equation is one big fraction, right? So first you have a big fraction in there, you need to take care of that first. So the rule for fraction is you're going to multiply by the denominator. So my denominator is 6. I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. That will cancel out that 6 there. 7 plus n comes down. And I have negative 6 on this side. I don't have like terms. I don't need to move a variable. I do need to subtract this 7, right? Remember, the opposite of positive 7 is negative 7. And then n will equal negative 13. In problem 3, I'm going to distribute first. I'm distributing this negative number. 16 will equal negative 2 minus n plus 6. I do have like terms this time. This negative 2 and this positive 6 are like terms. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. And then bring my minus n down. Now I want to subtract my 4 from both sides. 12 equals negative n. And then I'm going to be dividing. In this case, I've got this negative by the n. I'm going to divide, technically it's a negative 1. I'll divide by negative 1. Negative 12 equals n. There's that one. I picked out a couple here for the bottom with fractions. So these are different than this kind of fraction. This is like a big fraction with where there's more than one thing on the top. When you've got little fractions, like these ones, it's a little bit different. So for problem 4 here, I want to distribute. I'm going to do that first. When you do fractions multiplying, if it's a fraction and a whole number, multiply the top of the fraction with that. So this would be 6 over 4. And then when you do a fraction and a fraction, you just multiply across. 3 times 1, 4 times 2. For this next part, I don't have like terms. I don't need to move variables because I only have one of them. We're at the subtraction part. We're minusing the 3 over 2. I've got 6 over 4x here. And then for this, you can put this in a calculator and it'll do it for you. Nspires will do it. The Desmos calculator does it. But generally, to subtract a fraction, right now this is 2 over 1. To make it 2 over 8, multiply both of these over by 8. We'll get 16 over 8 minus 3 over 8. 16 minus 3 is 13. At this point, to get rid of this fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Reciprocal is when you flip it over. Multiply by 4 over 6. Remember, when we're multiplying fractions, we go across. A trick for you, you can reduce now, like 4 over 8 would be 2 over 4. Then when you do this, 13 times 2, that's 36. 4 times 6 is 24. These are both even numbers. It's a clue that tells me it's going to reduce some. We can start reducing that. Like this is 18 over 12, which is 9 over 6, which is 3 over 2. There you go. 3 over 2 is the answer to that one. Number 5. I'm going to distribute my 3. At 3 over 2x minus 6. Add the 6. 3 over 2x equals 2. Multiply by the reciprocal. 2 times 2 is 4 over 3. And no need to reduce that one. There you go. There's your solving equations review.